Hello there.
Hello there.
Kyle Katarn here.
And the Bendu.
Coming back for another podcast. Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
This is the Dork Forces podcast.
Yes, welcome.
Episode 89.
89. Yes.
89.
Welcome to a very, very good start to a new week. I mean, it's wild. So, like, the holiday season is almost upon us. Something we are going to talk about, the fact that Skeleton Crew is now 2 weeks away.
Literally
like
2 weeks.
It's so close. It's so
Dude, that's
close.
so soon. That's so soon. 2 weeks, man.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Excuse me? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Things are getting hotter.
Dude, I was expecting something to come out of the mouth. Like, wow, that was so.
Oh, wow. Have you not seen Total Recall?
Not the original version. I've seen
we're reacting to it.
I've seen
it's a classic.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger remake of Total Recall.
Okay.
Not the OG one though. Like,
dude,
that's
it's such a good movie. I love Total Recall. But I'm told that's a scene from Skeleton Crew that Neil will in fact tear a false head off and then reveal himself in every
I hope so.
word.
I hope
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good stuff, man. I'm actually really excited for Skeleton Crew. 2 weeks is not that long away. Like, it's gonna be here.
No.
You know?
Well, I mean, like, something that I was thinking about earlier at work today that kind of threw me off is the fact that Thanksgiving is next week, which really kind of like, and then what did the Wookiees celebrate? Life Day?
Life Day was yesterday, the 17th.
Oh, yesterday. Shit. Well, happy Life Day, best friend.
Happy Life Day to you. And happy Life Day to everyone watching. I hope everyone had a good time. You hugged a Wookiee, you ate some cheesecake, maybe did a double shot of whiskey, poured some eggnog on your head, whatever your particular
your boat,
flavor
out in red robes. Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever jiggles your Jawa, as they say.
Right? Pondered some orbs. Or like passed some glowing rocks to your friends and family. It is
that's kind of why I think that Life Day is accessible outside of Star Wars fans. Like, I've been saying it for a long time, is that Life Day, it's not just about wearing red robes and hugging Wookiees. It's about pondering orbs.
It's about pondering orbs.
And when I'm not being Kyle Katarn, I'm a Grizzled Wizard, and I'm pretty much constantly pondering an orb. So like that speaks to me on multiple levels. So it's no wonder that I am all about Life Day. It's my favorite holiday. Digitalis, how dare you? How dare you speak of these things?
That's pretty. That's
out.
It's a very bold statement, a bold claim.
Yeah. No. What? A bold claim.
I mean,
what happened? Because now I need to defend myself here. It's Swator Sunday. We were running flashpoints for the Galactic Seasons, and we just happened to run a flashpoint on Life Day, where one of the bosses was a Wookiee. And so, I mean,
see, that's like when you
I didn't know going into it that we were going to kill a Wookiee that day. So,
right, that's just irony and bad timing. And like, for every Santa, there's a Krampus, and for every Baka, there's a Mad Claw.
Don't make me the Krampus of Life Day. I don't want to know.
I'm saying the Wookiee that you had to fight, the mob boss that was becoming the Grinch of everyone else's Life Day.
Okay, take it. It's an out there rationalization, but I will accept it because I don't want to be the guy that killed a Wookiee on Life Day. Yeah. Skeleton Crew is 2 weeks away, but let's not lose sight of the fact that Andor season 2 is only 156 days away. So it's basically right around the corner too.
The amount of pictures that we've slowly been fed from the various News Empire or Empire Weekly, different people on their social media accounts have graced behind the scenes photos with Andor.
D23 in Brazil last week.
Yeah, there's so much
images too.
It brings so much more excitement because, again, what we said before, is that Andor season 1 was totally something. It was slept on. Even Rogue One in itself, it was something
it was out of left field. Like Bad
no one
Batch,
was
okay, I
expecting.
get it, but like Andor, like no one really, or at least I was kind of like, who is this show for? Cassian Andor is such a supporting character in Rogue One. Like, what
Yeah.
story is there to tell? And it's like it's just a way of telling the story of the rebellion, really. Andor is just sort of our vehicle for seeing these galactic events, but it's not. I don't feel like the show's about him anymore. It's become early rebellion, the show, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I love it so much.
I mean,
I really didn't think I was going to get this into Andor, but I'm so into it.
Right? Because it's
So
like,
into it.
on that note, is like we've already learned so much about like Mon Mothma as a person and like her personal life and the upcomings of how she really needed to be secret about how she got funding, needed to be really stealthy on how she found people that were against the empire in the first place, that without making it too obvious that she was on one side of the political spectrum.
I can't believe she's pinning the whole thing on what's his nuts from Monarch of the Glen. It took me a minute to realize that that's who Perrin's actor was, but it's totally the
well, that
totally
long-haired
Monarch of the
dude,
Glen.
yeah,
Saying that he has a gambling problem where where the taxi driver can hear them, so
Yes.
that's the information he gets back.
That was amazing.
It's so slick, it's so underhanded, and I love it. She's gonna throw her whole family to the wolves.
I mean,
Her husband and her daughter,
sucks.
she's throwing them under the bus.
At the same time, her family sucks. Even her daughter sucks.
I mean, her daughter is a product of society that she's being raised in. She doesn't have. I mean, it's a whole thing. It's not. You can't just like make a black and white statement about any character in the show. And I think that's part of the brilliance of the show. Even the objectively like fascist and evil ones, it's like there's shades of gray there as well. But like I'm just was never expected to get such a nuanced view at like the mechanics behind the Empire and the Rebellion the way that we have.
Absolutely.
But still feeling Star Wars enough to have like action beats in every episode. And yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
The completely different points of view on the same or towards the same problem, because we get to see Saw Gerrera at like the most pinnacle point of his like revolutionary career theoretically, and then we also get Luthen, who's like kind of wanting to do the same shit but wants no notoriety whatsoever, and then you have Mon Mothma, who's like trying to play everything really close to the chest and really safe, but like also doesn't want credibility because she doesn't want to be like rooted out because she still has a political career, quote unquote.
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah, there's so much, but they all hate the Empire and they all view that something needs to be done, and they all have this idea. What up, Crystal? Because it's like they all can see that like there's certain gears that are moving towards something that's going to be absolutely horrible for everyone, but they don't immediately recognize it yet. They're just like, oh, what do you mean what do you mean we need new chain codes? Oh, what do you mean we need to change our currency? Oh, what do you mean that we need to like do XYZ?
And like since Andor's come out, they've really compounded that feeling, like just that crawling feeling of dread as we see this fascist oppression of the galaxy slowly take root. Then Bad Batch like doubled down on it too. We saw the chain codes like first get put into place, and now Andor season 2 is going to hit even harder because of it. And also, I completely agree. It's a great like contrast showing that Mon has like you're saying, a radical rebel niece, Vel, on the other side of the coin, who's completely opposite of Mon in her approach. Like she'll kick the door in and start shooting. That's her method. Like she just wanted to have Andor killed. Like she suggested it several times. And Mon Mothma is like, violence is the last resort. We have to distance ourselves, this and that. Showing that like they came from very similar roots and beginnings, but like they diverged so much from each other in terms of philosophy.
Dude, and then also speaking of philosophy,
Star Wars in this economy, dare we ask for it?
Yeah. I mean, and then also we get like our favorite, I'm trying to look up the cast names now, but like our favorite lesbian couple that survived season 1, of whom tried to have the idea of like, oh yeah,
Cinta and Vel. That's Cinta and Vel.
Yeah, dude, like one of them's like, oh yeah, we can totally have a relationship, and the other one's like, no, bitch, on business, all times. Like, what do you mean? We don't have time for a relationship. We need to bring down the Empire. Relationship afterwards. And she's like,
and that's the correct priority. She's right. She's totally right.
Yeah, like, we have no time for this. People are dying. Like,
you want love during our revolution?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like, I mean, I get you, I understand, but like,
Well, hey, but then again, think
yeah.
about V for Vendetta. He's like, a revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having.
It's true.
So maybe you do need to stop and smell the roses, because if you're in a revolution, you may not live to see tomorrow. And so, like, again,
But
a
at the same
nuanced
time,
topic.
don't
You
they
can't
also
just say,
work?
"Oh, it's
Like,
shades,
they work
it's
for
black and
Luther.
white." You know.
So it's like it makes sense what, or not what. That's not the right word, but it makes sense the reasons why Luthen recruited the way that he did, because both of them share very much the same fucking mentality of like, we need
Yeah.
to kill everyone. It doesn't matter if
Absolutely
we
they
take
do.
this out or not. We just need to stop this shit from happening because it's wrong.
Right.
Like, and then Val's just like, but what if there's more? And she's like, no, on point. One job.
Rats Terrell is going to show up in Andor in the dude. Come on, man.
Out. Dad, I got your voucher.
Out. No, he's not. Yeah, and Ben Quadraneros is going to be there, and Sebulba, and they're going to look right at the camera and address the audience directly, breaking the fourth wall, just like Hulk Hogan in Gremlins 2. That's what's going to happen. It's canon.
Jordan Bacchus, honestly, story being great. Andor season 2 needs action. Love to see a lightsaber also. I mean,
Hello there.
Hello there. I mean, like, Andor, something that's like really special and great about Andor, and again, Rogue One, there were no, like, the only time we got to see a lightsaber was Vader at the very, very fucking end. So it's like, I appreciate that this show has nothing to do with the Force, because, like, we had the Force. We have it with Ahsoka. We have it with Kenobi. We have it with, like, you know, like it has its
Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah,
You know,
like
almost every single video game except Outlaws. Like, lightsabers are everywhere. It's the main crux. It's like it's the main thing in Star Wars, which explains also why people want to see them in Andor, because it feels like it's such a natural thing for Star Wars to do. But I kind of appreciate that it's, you know, stepping outside of the Jedi, because the Jedi isn't the whole galaxy. You know, there's so much else going on. The fate of the galaxy always seems to hang in the balance when Jedi are doing things, but we never actually go off to those distant worlds where the Jedi never go, where people's lives are still being affected. And I think that's kind of the whole point of Andor.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to even think, at this period of time, is Fortress Inquisitorius even active, or is it still being, like, barely built?
It is built. It is built.
So it's like, if we were to see a saber, it would maybe be from an Inquisitor. And it's like, there's so many other cool Imperial stuff that we can see in Andor. Fuck, we brought Krennic. We got Krennic in one of the covers for like New Empire Week for like the magazine, bro. Like, we're getting our man with the cape back. Like,
I was talking about this in the last podcast. My official prediction for if we're getting any sort of a cameo in this show, it's going to be Dutch Vander, Gold Leader, because he's the one that personally escorts Mon Mothma away from Coruscant to meet up with the Ghost Crew and Rebels after she like officially denounces Palpatine publicly after the Gorman massacre, and then she like has to get out.
Which is when Tarkin drops the ship on the.
He lands a Star Destroyer on a bunch of protesters. That is currently the canon depiction of what happened, but like, you know, it's going to be up to Tony Gilroy how it actually went down, because if they show it, they're going to have free reign to tell that story however they want. Let's be real here. Star Wars does not always respect its own canon. Sometimes they will just rewrite stuff, you know. Story group, schmory group. What are you gonna do? But I do think that Dutch Vanderland from Red Dead Redemption 3: A New Hope. I guess that's Red Dead Redemption 4, right?
Yes.
But that's the kind of, because he's not going to throw a cameo in there that would not make sense and service the story, and we need the story of Mon Mothma escaping. So my guess would be Andor is going to be the one to actually like physically escort her through like her complex and through the danger and get her to a ship, and he's going to hand her off to Gold Leader at the end of the episode, and they're going to fly off in their little rinky-dink transport, and thus begins that episode of Star Wars Rebels where they fly through the nebula. That's actually a great episode. They fire their torpedoes of the ionized gas of the nebula, and it sends this huge flare out and like melts the Star Destroyer, basically.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
That's
like,
the one where Volscaris like comes back for his revenge and he gets like lost inside the nebula. It's a very pretty episode.
Yeah, it's like the only real cameos that could really happen for season 2 is, and we have, and like, what's the actress's name?
Sorry. You're right. I should have thrown that up there.
Felicity Jones, who plays. I forget the actress's name who plays Jyn Erso. Is it Felicity Jones? Like, I feel like there's people that haven't been labeled or like listed on the credits yet that's like could very easily come up. Like Mad Mikkelsen as Jin's dad could easily make a cameo as a scientist, especially since we're getting Krennic. Like, there's so much stuff that we
could get him back as Galen. Galen makes more sense to me than Jyn. Jyn doesn't become relevant to the story until she's already in prison by that time in
which would be like, and at that point, if Andor season 2 is supposed to lead up directly to Rogue One, then the last episode's gonna literally be Mon Mothma being like, "Hey, this is your mission. We need you to break this girl out."
Yes, I think the looking for Felicity Jones's name isn't going to do it, because if we see Jyn, it'll be young Jyn with a different actress.
That's like a flashback. So it'd be more relevant to look for Mad Mikkelsen so that we could get Iden Versio.
We could get more Bodhi. Bodhi Rook could be in there.
That's true. I saw somebody in the comments talking about Andy Serkis. I mean, bro, if we get him, like, he's still in prison or escaping the floating prison. So it's like, I don't think, if you're thinking of anything Snoke related, I doubt that. But if it could be,
I would guess that Andy Serkis directed an episode.
Yeah,
that would be my suspicion of why he was there. Is he probably directed an episode of Andor? Because Kino Loy, like I was instantly fascinated by him. He's just got such gravitas on the screen. Andy Serkis, like, he really does grip you with these roles. But
oh my god,
I don't know if we're ever going to see him again.
One way out.
I don't know that we're ever going to see Kino Loy again, and we're never going to find out if he could swim, or like if he made it to shore. And I think that leaving that hanging is a very powerful move, because that would be very realistic to, like, you're in a prison, you're part of a mass escape. People that you've emotionally connected with, you may just never learn their fate. You know, like, that's a reality for people in that situation. So, like, who knows? Maybe it's an attempt to make the audience kind of experience a little bit more of what Cassian felt that day, because he never knows what happens to Kino. So maybe we never know what happened to Kino for that reason too. You know. Thank you. It was some trial and error, but yeah, no, our lighting's kind of come into place there, hasn't it?
What, for both of us?
Yes, yeah, our backgrounds, like, it's nice and dialed in finally. Took a minute.
Yeah, I suppose so. I wish I still had a little bit more of like a proper office, but one of the living quarters, one of the libraries of the Sanctum Sanctorum is still a very peaceful place. And I get my boy Gengar always hanging out in the back too. So it's like we here representing our different fandoms and occupational hazards, being ghosts.
Yeah, you'll have ghosts sometimes. It just happens. This is the other point that I wanted to make, is that not knowing Kino's fate protects Kino in the Schrodinger's dog kind of way, because, like, if they bring him back, he could die. But if they don't bring him back, you can just decide he's still alive out there somewhere, and there's no canon entry to refute that. So if they bring him back,
there's no real reason. I mean, other than to, like, punish him for, like, helping out with the breakout and everything. Like, he doesn't know anything about Andor, like, as a person. So it's like, and he's not part of the rebellion. So there's no real reason, like, in relation to that investigation or anything to do with, like, the rebellion, that they would kill Andy Serkis's character for that. The only reason why they would do that is just because, like, hey, you were very much heavily involved in this giant, prison breakout, and because of that, like, you need to be, like, absolutely punished, sort of a thing. But, like, it wouldn't be the same as if they killed Binks or Binks. That's her name, right? I don't remember.
Bix.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Jar Jar Binks.
No. Yeah. Right. Because like they rescued her from the fucking brain machine of like all the thousands of silent screams.
They were
But
making her listen to the "I'm Han Solo" song from Xbox Connect.
dude, but they could easily kill her off, and that would have a much like more heavy emotional toll for Andor than like
That could
Andy
be the
Serkis's character.
final moment of
Right.
radicalization for him, where he has nothing left to lose.
Yeah, either
Give
the Empire
himself fully
kills
to the
her or she
rebellion.
sacrifices herself. One
Right.
of the two, for sure. But we did get pictures of our boy K2SO, so I'm also intrigued on like kind of what that backstory is going to be like, or if there even is one, or if they're just going to bring him out and be like, here's this droid that we caught and like, you know, reprogrammed, and now he's going to be your best friend.
They're such a good duo. Like their dynamic is so fun to watch. It's the only thing really like about Cassian Andor's character that I felt like was missing from season 1 compared to Rogue One is like the duo, the dynamic he has. And so like the fact that we're going to get that, hopefully it's not like a final episode kind of thing. And we actually have multiple episodes with Alan Tudyk, who gave us such a good performance also in Rogue One.
He was a great, he was an absolutely terrifying.
Hopefully early on, but maybe like I don't know, man. I don't know how big of a dent in the budget the motion capture is really going to do. So if it's really becomes that expensive of a thing, they might have him show up in the final episode or like the last 3-episode arc, because they did that last season. We had 3-episode arcs.
Oh,
which I assume we'll get again.
So like
he's such a good droid.
So what they could do though, so thinking about Hugh Yang in the back of my head, they could just make him a puppet, and like they could just CGI around the puppet, which
I fucking love puppet Hu Yang, dude.
So like
silly goofy puppet droids is the
wasn't he part puppet for Rogue One? Like I don't remember. It's been a very long time since I've watched the behind the scenes for Rogue One.
K2 was Alan Tudyk in a motion capture like a ping pong suit on stilts
at the time.
And he was either on stilts for half of the shots, and then other shots he was wearing, and then in the other shots he was wearing like a head on above his head for eye lines.
That's what I'm remembering. Yeah,
but it was practically the whole time. He was being a practical stand-in for his own thing.
Yeah, but like at the same time, do we even know how many episodes we get? So it's like it's hard to measure out.
It's not confirmed. We don't actually know.
In the box.
Mecha Leka High, Mecha Heiny Ho.
Yeah.
They may have said that, but each arc would be a single year. That I do remember something about that. That makes a lot of sense. So that way the time will be moving forward very rapidly, which does suggest that
so
the final arc will be
episodes, so even if they did 6 episodes, it would be 2 episodes in one time period, 2 episodes in the second time period.
I want to say it was either 9 or 12 episodes that we got.
Ooh, if they do 12, that's going to be the biggest. That's going to be the biggest hunk of Star Wars digital content that they're going to give us.
I feel like Rick's Road was in episode 12. That's what's in my head right now. Someone on the internet who has access to this information, let me know in the comments. Like, I'm pretty sure that it was 12 episodes though, because 12 Rick's Road episode 12. That makes sense. That rings a bell for me. Because
we don't normally, or at least I don't normally complain about like billing or complain about like, capitalism, even though capitalism sucks horribly. But I don't know about sound off in the chat if anyone else got a email talking about how Disney Plus is going to be going through their 3rd price increase. So
third one.
Before, like, I remember when I first got Disney Plus, I was paying maybe like $8.99 a month. And then it went up to like, I think $10.99. And then I got an email earlier today saying that they're going to be going to like $15.99. And that's just for Disney Plus by itself with no ads. Because like when it's like the Disney Plus Hulu and then like whatever the fuck else bundle.
At least we're not getting ads. I was watching Amazon Prime, dude. 7 ads in a row. 7 ads in a row.
Like
watch an episode of Legend of Vox Machina.
I know it's not like they're paying their actors more or that Disney's going to be paying their employees more. So it's like if they're going to be charging. If they're going to be charging so much more for a lot of their streaming services, I hope
what are we getting out of it besides this stupid Star Wars Marvel playlist of just constantly shuffling episodes? Like, it doesn't even sound like it's going to be that curated. Like, that's not worth the price increase. Maybe if we
It's
didn't have
actually
$180 million budgets of our
Right.
TV shows, we wouldn't have to pay so much for the streaming service. That's just a thought. Just a thought that I have.
like it definitely
What's the alternative at this
like
point? You know, they've created a monopoly.
continuously makes me like re-go through like which streaming services I want to like keep or hold on to, and just makes you super conscious
Pretty
of
good,
like
actually.
yeah, all right, we'll turn this one off for a couple months, and then we'll turn Amazon on so we can watch this show, and then we'll
Yeah, I
turn
was
this
thinking
one
about
off
doing
so
that. When I finish watching Lioness and Lower Decks, I might get rid of Paramount Plus and then get it again when Strange New Worlds comes out. Or
yeah,
I mean, I hate that it comes to that though. But like, if you want to watch all the shows, if you're a lover of TV and film, you need like 8 streaming platforms in order to watch everything.
it's just fucking ridiculous.
There needs to be some sort of like universal like platform where you can pay them an amount and you get access to everything, you know? And if it's slightly more expensive, whatever. But like, I don't want to have
It's
individually Apple TV and Netflix and Hulu and Peacock and HBO and Paramount, and there's so many.
Yeah, and you would rather like it.
Yeah, it's totally become cable, but worse. It's terrible, man.
Yeah, dude. It's frustrating.
See, I was thinking about that, and then they hooked me again with Dune Prophecy, so I can't cancel it yet. Sorry, Bendu, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I haven't watched Penguin, so I have no idea. I mean, everyone keeps hailing it as like, oh, it's this really great gangster show, but I feel like it's supposed to it's a prequel to the Batman movie.
No.
Oh, it's because doesn't
it's right
Penguin
afterwards.
die?
Gotham is flooded as fuck, dude. It's right after the Batman movie.
Oh, really?
It's in the wake of the Riddler blowing the seawall and how that like ripped out the impoverished community and completely changed the crime landscape.
Oh shit! Okay.
And so it's about the Penguin seizing opportunities after like everything got rearranged in the movie. Dude, you know me and you know my opinion of like Marvel and DC movies and films so far.
Mhm.
I fucking loved the Penguin.
Really?
So that should tell you everything you need to know about the Penguin.
Okay,
I
but
like
but you don't see Batman at all. Like this, the whole show is purely
I watched The Batman. I did see The Batman.
Yeah.
So I saw the one that I need, the Robert Pattinson.
But I mean, like in the show, Batman doesn't show up.
He is not in the show. But I mean, like that's because this is like, I don't know. Think of this as the Mandalorian is to Star Wars. You know, like it's street level Gotham.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm a big fan of The Sopranos, and it really had that kind of crime vibe in a big way. And also, Colin Farrell just like transforms, dude.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
No. So I would say the Penguin is worth watching, dude.
Okay.
Fantastic antagonist. Yeah. Great performances from everybody. So also today happens to be the 9-year anniversary of Star Wars Battlefront. Excuse me.
Battlefront 2.
2 days ago.
Yeah, we gotta like you have to specify almost like which Battlefront because like
it's Battlefront 1, 2.
Yeah, Battlefront 2.
It's not the second Battlefront 2. It's the second Battlefront 1.
Beautiful piece of creation. It's just such art. Battlefront 2 is such a piece of art that unfortunately never got a facelift, never got a remake. But Battlefront though did get the ultimate facelift.
It was so good, dude.
And did get a really gorgeous remake. They came out with amazing DLC. And was one of the original founding fathers for the Kyle Katarn channel.
Yeah, some of my earliest videos were Battlefront videos. I gotta tell you, that was like easily the greatest gaming experience of my life. Maybe not the greatest game out there, but the greatest gaming experience that I have experienced. Here's the gameplay launch trailer. I grabbed this one because just for the sake of remembering here.
Was like, what is Peter Jackson fighting?
It is unavoidable.
And this was such a hype trailer, dude.
And the end of this insignificant rebellion.
Soldiers of the Rebel Alliance, this is our most desperate hour.
You
are our only hope.
No hype.
Dude, I love the Skrullis Rebel jacket. The leather around in yellow. So good. terrible scum!
Ooh. Man, I really wish I was better.
I still played it on a weekly basis. I played the single player like survival mission thing.
Don't get in my way.
Shield up!
That won't happen again.
Nah.
Prevent the walkers from reaching the space.
What a
It's the good
shame.
stuff, man. It's the good stuff.
Your victory will be short-lived.
God! Just throw! Open the door and kill.
Throw,
God,
throw.
Vader's terrifying in this game, man. Okay, I'm sorry. That matchup makes no sense.
He's so fast.
Always. Blast them into submission.
As an OT lover, this game was perfect, man.
God, he was so good at flying.
May the Force be with us.
When did that ever happen? I
my God,
swear to
this
God, I
part.
feel like
This
I feel
is
like
my
the
favorite
players
part.
in the trailers have like the best luck with rocket launchers that I've ever seen ever. Like no one has like the rocket launcher trick shot where like, oh yeah, my buddy's gonna force throw the fucking soldier into the air and I'm just gonna go chakunk. Like that never happens.
It
Never
happens
happens.
regularly. It's just around the corner from the camera. We just never get to see it.
Sure.
They're doing it nonstop down there on Dantooine. They're on Dantooine. Okay. Life Day was November 17th. So depending on what time code you are in, I don't think it's the 17th anymore for anybody. So it was yesterday, no matter what, or maybe 2 days ago if you're ahead of where I am.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, man.
Luke
versus
consistent
Palpatine,
was not great
It was
because-
great.
Sorry, say that again.
I was just looking at Nathan Troxel's comment of Luke versus Palpatine, dude. And then when we first got the first couple of like DLCs of hero characters, like it did. I was really.
We got
really
Nine
sad.
Numb and Greedo. That was the first two that they
Yeah.
gave us. Nine
It
Numb
made
and
no
Greedo.
fucking sense. No sense at all.
Nah,
But,
dude,
like,
they were great.
man, I think the biggest tragedy though, like going from Battlefront 2 to the refaced
God, that's
Battlefront 1 was the fact that they got rid of the mini game setting where you were able to do like the hero v heroes. And you just had full roster regardless of like if you had unlocked them or not for the campaign play, and you could just play hero v hero. The fact that they didn't cross that over, I think, was the only thing they really
did have a
missed
heroes
out
versus heroes mode, but you couldn't just use the whole roster. That's what they didn't carry over. Was like you had to actually manually unlock them. And at launch, it was a problem too because a bunch of people didn't have like enough points to unlock Darth Vader, for example, who you'd think would be one of the first ones you'd get, but they fixed it eventually. Yeah. So Cal commented on YouTube after making some very cold, hard observations about my driving skill in video games. And so he wanted to know about how I drive in real life. And I told him, well, we'll have to ask Bendu on the podcast because he's been in a car with me many times. So what's the verdict?
So like I haven't.
I'm a fantastic driver.
I haven't seen your driving on Outlaws, so I really don't know what your driving is like in Outlaws. I know for Battlefront, I mean, like I know flying wise, you're really good with flying. So like
I'm talking real life. I'm talking driving a car in real life.
You're good.
Before you answer, just know that our friendship hangs in the balance.
I know, right? I'm thinking about it because it's like you're a good driver. Okay, so living in Seattle, I think has made you like the best like quick reaction defensive driver. So it's like being in the car with you is still scary, but it's not scary because you're driving. It's scary because I have to hope that your reaction time is as fast as like people making stupid ass decisions and like just merging in front of you with that like last fucking second, or like people not recognizing that like it just became a red light and they should be slowing down and they're just like bro, what's happening here? And they just like last minute heartbreak, and it's just
People
like,
cannot
oh my
drive
God.
in Seattle, dude. People that is a very important factor here. Is that I drive in a city with the worst drivers. Okay.
It's terrifying. They're all techies. Yeah, everyone needs to like go back
Okay.
to the driver's
So
ed.
you're saying that you're not scared of being in the car with me so
No.
much as you're scared of being in the car.
Yes.
It's kind of what you're just scared of being in the car with
In
Seattle drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
See,
so.
that's fair. That's fair. See,
Yeah.
Cerelia, she's been in a car with me too.
The
She was a
lack
good
of
driver. She was
signal
a good
use in
driver.
Seattle kills me. See, bro.
Very felt yes,
Exactly.
defensive driver, my man.
Yes, it's the lack of signaling, bro.
No,
See, like,
no,
at
you
least
don't.
in
You don't even know.
Phoenix, see, it's the unpredictability. So, like here in Phoenix, everyone's just like massively aggressive, constantly tailgates, and is always speeding. Right?
Yeah. Everyone wants you to go like
those,
15, 20 over.
Very predictable. Very predictable. I know exactly how this person's going to drive. I know exactly that like they're always going to be in like a me first sort of a thing. I know
Thank
they're
you,
not going to let
Chadwell.
you
Chadwell
merge.
has also been in a car with me. He can confirm.
Like it's different. But in Seattle, it's just fucking bumper cars. And like it's bumper cars on semi-wet street. So it's also you don't know who's gonna hydroplane and who's not gonna hydroplane. So you're just like, fuck me. What's gonna happen? All I wanted was a lift downtown. And like I have to hope that like our driver isn't gonna fucking kill us on the way to this Comic-Con. You know, like that's
okay.
That's
Don't even talk about that Uber, dude. That Uber was like that was a horrifying experience that I have worked hard to repress.
I don't want to. I mean, there's been a couple of.
I can smell it now. I can smell the car again. It's too
I
late.
wasn't even thinking about that one, but it's been.
Oh God, yeah, no, that was terrible. That was before we tell that story. Mila, hello. Thank you so much for the raid, by the way. I'm so happy to have you here. You're one of the OGs. You've been here the longest. Bendu was in town for Emerald City Comic Con, and we grabbed an Uber last year. We grabbed an Uber downtown to the brand new convention center. He had 5 stars. He shows up like the car smelled like piss.
It was so disgusting.
Not even like, that's a weird smell. Wonder what
it was
piss.
So bad.
It was piss.
Like the garbage had garbage. Like it was it was wild.
It looked like Homeboy was living in his car, I think. Like dude was definitely like peeing in his seat and throwing balls out the window or something. But like it got to the point where we're like, you could just let us out on the freeway and we'll just run along. It's cool, dude. Let us out here. Like, here's good.
It's like feeling at one point where like, dude, we can see the convention center from here. It's like 2.5 blocks. It's like, bro, we can just walk. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like about 1,000 meters. We could do it. We could do it. It's pouring with rain. It's like 20 degrees. You're dressed as Doctor Strange, but we could do it.
Yeah, that's oh shit. And then Richard Felix, your question is to like what was favorite Star Wars game of all time? I mean, so for me that's kind of a 2-parter. Okay. So like I mean technically 3 parts, but like it's the same for one of them, it's the same game in like 2 different consoles. So like Force Unleashed, for example. Okay. Fucking love that the Force Unleashed had a DS version, so I could just take it on the go anywhere. Like I wasn't reliant on like a TV and a heavy console. I could just play it on the go. Right. I appreciated that Force Unleashed had different levels depending on which console you bought it on.
Yes.
If it was either PlayStation, Xbox, or
PS2,
DS.
And the Wii came out for the Wii. That was the
PS2 and the Wii. Like each one had different bosses on each. Like Kashyyyk had a different thing. I got
it on the PlayStation 2 because I couldn't afford a PlayStation an Xbox 360, which it also came out for. And there's a level on the PS2 you don't get in the rest of the game, which is the Jedi Temple mission.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was their way of making people who couldn't afford an Xbox feel better. Was by giving us an extra mission on our broke ass PS2s.
That's true. Or like the fact that the Sith Infiltrator Special Edition, like that expansion only came out for PS2. Like that was legit. But what was awesome about the Wii though is that we had like this Mortal Kombat version of like as you went through the campaign, like you could. It was like what was the other Star Wars fighting game that was fan made that we used to play? that had
Oh yeah. Force Combat, right?
Force Combat. So
Force
like
Combat.
the Wii version of Force Unleashed had versions of like that where you could have different heroes fight 1v1, and
That's
it was
pretty
fucking
awesome.
cool. But like,
That's
so yeah,
totally awesome.
I love the versatility that the Force Unleashed had, and I loved how you could do so much stuff with the Force, and it was just fun. It was just absolutely
Do you
fun.
remember? Do you remember when
That's-
Starkiller got added to Soul Calibur
Yeah.
as the
Like,
guest hero?
well, same with Vader and Yoda. Like all three
Mhm.
of them came at the same
Like,
time.
suddenly the game turned into a Star Wars game, and I would only fight with them on the Star Wars stages, and I was like, "Yeah, this is my Star Wars game now."
So it's like, yeah, Force Unleashed for sure, and then I think obviously KOTOR would have to be my number one go-to. Like,
Yeah, you do love KOTOR a lot.
because there's so much stuff you can do. There's so
Yeah.
many different ways you can play it, and
I
like,
feel that way about the Old Republic as well. That's why I keep
Yeah.
coming back to the Old Republic, is because there's so many different ways to do it. Galactic Battlegrounds, I love Galactic Battlegrounds because I'm a huge fan of Age of Empires. And Galactic Battlegrounds is literally just a reskin of Age of Empires 2, Age of Kings, which is like the best game in the Age of Empires series. So a Star Wars version, you know I'm all over that. Playable Gungans as a civilization, like you already know.
I was never.
I had
was
the
never-
biggest bombad grand army. I could take out anyone.
wild.
I took out the Republic. I took out the Empire as the Gungans. Never looked back.
Never possible. Yeah.
But in
Especially what it's
answering that
story that
question
no one-
for me, I think my favorite Star Wars game of all time is probably 2015 Battlefront, just because of the time in my life when that came out, the memories I have associated with playing it, and the friends that I made through being in those lobbies every single night for like years. But in terms of the game that I've played the most and was the most formative for me, probably Jedi Knight 3, Jedi Academy, or Jedi Outcast, because those were the games where I first like really fell in love with gaming, like Star Wars as a gaming concept, and I started making mods and maps and things for those games, which I'd never done before, and that really kind of opened up a whole new facet of my personality growing up as a teenager. So that's my twofold answer. It would be Jedi Academy and Battlefront 2015.
I will say a close runner-up, a very, very strong close runner-up. And I say close because, again,
Love it.
never got a fucking reskin, never got a touch-up, never got resurrected. Nintendo 64 Pod Racer.
Yes.
We spent years
Episode 1
trying to
Racer,
find
baby.
We've spent years trying to find ways of how to relive the glories of the races. But
Please give us a new racing game, man.
Never resurfaced ever.
The game makes itself. It's such a no-brainer. Like the technology we have, like how good racing games look these days. Even if you want to keep it within canon, we have so many new planets, species, components. Like,
right.
If you think about the level of customization you get in a next-gen racing game with the things you can do to your car and like everything. Now imagine being able to do that with a pod racer. You can build it from scratch. You can choose like the species of your racer.
Yes.
There's infinite number of maps on infinite number of planets. Hell, have the planets be randomly generated race courses. We have that technology now. I know Greg Proops would be down to come back and reprise his role as the two-headed announcer for the game. You know why I know that?
Absolutely.
Because I asked him that, and he told me that in the parking lot of the Paramount after the Whose Line Is It Anyway show in Seattle. It was a good time.
Dude, Bombad Racer.
He told me he wants to do it. So I know you're listening to me. Make it happen.
That would be part of it too. That would be like how Turok had Turok had the really funny big head version, where like your main character and the dinosaurs would have giant like bobblehead versions. Like that.
I do remember that one too.
Part of it. But dude, could you imagine like Rey's big ass head sitting on top of the Millennium Falcon, and then you could have like Sith infiltrator Darth Maul racing bobblehead Rey? Like,
yeah, and they both get left in the dust by Hondo's head on top of a flying saucer. Like,
dude, could you imagine?
Give it to me now. Give it to me now.
Dude, Hondo's saucer.
Hondo on the flying saucer every time.
The winner. It would be
he'd
win. It would.
It would Jim Cummings is the voice.
like it would be a cheat off on who could cheat the bestest and the hardest between Hondo and Sebulba. Are you kidding me? That would stall out the game.
Speaking of Hondo, this week the wild card DLC gets added to Star Wars Outlaws, featuring a mission with Hondo Ohnaka. So we're going to get some brand new canon Hondo Ohnaka content this week in Star Wars Outlaws. I can't wait to play through that DLC. I will be playing it live on Twitch. Stay tuned for those announcements. There's also a patch coming with the update, and they're changing a bunch of stuff in terms of the gameplay, which is pretty exciting. Like, they've reworked the combat and some of the AI that the NPCs use. I have mixed feelings about that because I do enjoy watching the AI be absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, some of the things they do, it could lead to some hilarious moments, but like, if it creates a better gameplay challenge, I'm all for it.
Legendary human being, I see your Grogu comment, and I will raise you with a better Grogu comment.
Flying the little cradle.
Bro, it would be quite hilarious in like every GTA server. Like, could you imagine just Grogu in the flying egg? Just that's your race car.
Yes,
is literally just Grogu in the
yeah, that's what the tram is. That's hilarious. What the tram is. The little egg.
Absolutely hilarious. And then your special attack would be like whistling birds would come out of the crib, or like you would just see this little green hand come out of the crib, and then like everything would like just
unlockable DLC would be like the deep cuts. Like, you could get a Jawa sandcrawler with the Crate Dragon scroll mounted on the front.
Dude, that would be the greatest.
You could get a little Dash Rendar with the Outrider. The YT 2400, like from Shadows of the Empire. Like,
that would be cool.
Skies, get the Bad Batch in there. Get Omega with the Marauder, itself. You know?
The game makes itself. Dude, Tech is a race as like your pilot or potential.
Riot Racing. Dude, remember the episode, the Riot Racing episode of the Bad Batch? Like, it's right there. It's right there.
It's right there, EA Games. Fucking
like,
do it.
Star Wars has been teasing me since 1999, telling me how very fast and very dangerous the pod racing on Malastare. Well, show it to me, God damn it! I want to see it. I want to do
Pixar
that.
didn't happen. Pixar didn't happen.
Exactly.
Riding that speeder,
just
like,
tell me how fast and dangerous it is, and then not ever show me. That's what I want,
dude. Again, I will raise you one even better. What about Boba Fett speeding on a bantha? Like, could you imagine just like the sprite, the sprite of like Tusken Raider Boba Fett sitting on a bantha, and it's like going as fast as like, yeah, no, that's the greatest. That's hilarious.
And I'm imagining Finn riding on one of those horse things that they rode on the top of the Star Destroyer, but it's inexplicably as fast as a pod racer. Like, it can just keep up with
exactly.
It just keeps up with them just because, you know.
Yeah, it's just feet off the ground, and it's just going. It's just floating and just like gliding.
Signs point to yes, that Melch is going to be there, because this is between 5 and 6, right? So this is shortly after the Rebels finale. And so Melch, honestly, Melch might even be recovering from his wounds at this point. I don't really know. No, it's been over a year. It's been over a year, because Rebels wraps up before 4, and this is after 5. And a happy life day to you, as they say in Shrewook. Yeah, please, EA, if you're watching, which we know you are.
Oh my God, Luke!
Give us a new pod racing.
Okay, if that ends up being its own separate side game, also, that would be fucking hilarious. Like, you have the sub game of pod racing, the sub game of bobblehead bombad racers, and then the sub game of like land racers. You have Obi-Wan on the giant spider. You have Luke on a tauntaun. You have
it's really an animal game mode for sure.
Like Padme and Anakin on top of the rhinoceros triceratops thing.
Boba
like,
Fett riding the Rancor from
riding,
Boba Fett.
Yeah, dude. Like, Boba riding on the Rancor. Like, there's so many animals that we can like have animals racing.
Season 1, like janky ass brown armor Din Djarin on the Blurg.
That would be the most top heavy.
I'd rather have Queel on the Blurg and then a scout trooper on a bike, but like his idle animation as he pulls Grogu out of a bag and like punches him and then puts him away again. Like, that's his taunt. That's his taunt emote, is pulling out Grogu and like punching him and putting him away. They basically did that in the Lego Rebuild the Galaxy. In the alternate universe where Luke is a pod racer, he's racing against Max Rebo, and he's totally in his little keyboard like piano booth, just hooked up to some engines. It's pretty amazing.
It's true. It is true.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree that it's all about pod racing, and it's an untapped market, and so many people that love Star Wars love things that go fast, and like there's so much crossover.
Things that go fast.
Like it's true. It's true. At the most basic sentiment. That's true. And George Lucas himself loved racing games.
One of your base racers would be a fucking stormtrooper. A stormtrooper on a dewback. That's
100%.
Perfect.
I raise you Grogu on the Mythosaur. Because we all know that's how it's going to shake out. Grogu's the one riding the Mythosaur. Din is that a bench? Jaren could never ride a Mythosaur. Okay, it's going to be Grogu.
Is that a bench?
That's his name. Like, come on.
Wow.
We love Din Djarin.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, his observational skills aren't always the greatest.
It's not that bright. We love him. He does the best he can. He's brave as hell. Brave as hell.
That's so funny.
He's not that bright.
That's so funny.
Now this is pod racing. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like it's there.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster, dude. When we thought that Melch got. Well, do you remember the Ugnaught before Melch? Like Lando's or Hondo's other little side piece who like betrays him, runs out the doors, and then gets like just blasted into smithereens by a walker that's just like waiting on the other side.
That now, but like that makes sense.
He goes like airborne, and then like his corpse just like splats back down.
Yeah, no,
it's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal for.
It was
for
the
Rebel.
most like karma thing ever. Sebastian Crumb riding Jabba.
What about the twins from Book of Boba Fett on their litter, just like with a bunch of people running, like humans carrying them? But again, they go as fast as the speeders, just because.
Wow, that's wow.
Hello there, welcome. Man, we've been rated twice in this stream. Intensify the forward firepower. It's much too late. So yeah, to switch gears a little bit here. So we've talked about the 9-year anniversary of Battlefront, the fact that Andor season 2 is 156 days away, which is not as many as it sounds. All right, it sounds crazy with triple digits, but like that's going to be here so soon. That Skeleton Crew is 2 weeks away. Like that's basically here already. But to switch gears a little bit and to get into put on our Lord of the Rings brains for a minute here, because when we're not talking Star Wars, we're pretty much always talking Tolkien here. We have 2 new TV spots for the upcoming animated feature, The War of the Rohirrim, which is being produced by Peter Jackson.
Yeah, I've been like trying to just like.
What do you know about this? I
don't know anything. Like I wasn't even sure.
Really?
I wasn't sure if it had come out already. Like I knew
it's coming out. It's coming out next year, I think.
Oh, it's next year. Okay. Then I've only seen the opening teaser trailer of like its conception.
Okay.
But it's a prequel though, right? It's the history of Rohan, but it's from Theoden, like it's like Theoden as a kid.
No, it's the story of Helm Hammerhand. Helm Hammerhand was the 9th king of Rohan, I'm pretty sure. But he generations before Theoden for sure. And he has 2 sons named Haleth and Hama, who are the names of the Kingsguard of Theoden, coincidentally. Hama is the Kingsguard, and then Haleth is his son. He's the kid that Aragorn talks to. He's like, oh, this is a good sword.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the story of Helm Hammerhand, how he gets his nickname, what a badass he is, and just like the story. The information that they're taking to create this story comes from The Lord of the Rings, Appendix A, Annals of the Kings and Rulers 2, The House of Eorl, right? And then also Unfinished Tales Part 3, The Third Age 5, The Battles of the Fords of Isen, because this is one of the greatest battles of that region of Isen where the Horse Lords live. Yeah, so we have 2 little TV spots here. The first one is called Helm, right? And it's about Helm Hammerhand. So let's get this going here.
Yeah, this year, December. Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. It's coming out next month. Whoo! All right. I gotta get focused here because it's about to be Rohan time.
The horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep.
One last time.
War is upon us.
Attack!
Let's go.
This is not a battle we can win.
Oh, the Westfold is burning.
Death.
When the songs of this day are sung.
But I think did Andy Serkis, I forget if he directed this or if he was like.
He's not involved. Andy Serkis is doing a Gollum thing that's not related to
Oh,
this.
that's right.
He's doing it's gonna be a live action Gollum prequel about the years where Gollum is searching for the ring.
Fucking in theaters, dog.
I mean, I can't wait, dude. It's gonna be so good.
Bro.
So this is okay, cool. Yeah, December 13th. Oh, this is gonna be good. So that's the Helm Hammerhand. The other spot is called King. Let's take a look at this one.
We have faced down death, famine, war to hold these lands together. You do not command the loyalty you think you do.
That's got to be Freka.
Brothers of Rohan, arise!
We have to get our people out.
Riding past the symbol, Nuna.
You're stronger than
Fucking eagle?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Oh, this is gonna be fighting a Mumok. Can you see that?
Oh, I didn't see shit.
At the very end, they're charging into an Oliphant. Look.
Don't give up.
You're stronger than I knew.
Stronger than I knew.
The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, the Oliphant. Yeah.
Only in theaters, December 13th.
Dude, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. So I could tell you a little bit here about the story of Helm Hammerhand, and this is probably what they're gonna cover here. But if you want to go into this totally blind, then I won't tell you anything.
No, I'll do it.
Okay.
Oh,
Well. Okay, so Helm Hammerhand is the 9th king of Rohan, and the last of the first line of its kings, like the founders of the people. His rule was pretty much completely beset by Dunlendings that kept vying for control of the region. Like he was just constantly at war with them. During the realm, he came into conflict with an arrogant, powerful landowner named Freka, who attempts to intimidate and coerce Helm into pushing a marriage through between Freka's son Wolf and Helm's daughter, so that he can, have a stake at the throne. Freka marches into this meeting at the king's council in Edoras, right? Planning to threaten the king into complying with his demands. It comes to blows. And first of all, if you're getting into a fist fight with a guy named Helm Hammerhand, you've already screwed up, right? So Helm Hammerhand punches Freka one time, and he dies. So now it's war because these are two leaders that just did. So now it's it's terrible. So all of Freka's people are cast out of Edoras and declared traitors, and they're banished. Think what happened to Eomer and the Horse Lords, right? Theoden's just like, get out of here. So they're all thrown away, and he declares them all enemies of the king. So fast forward 4 years, a combined army of Dunlendings, Corsairs of Umbar, and Easterlings overrun Rohan.
Oh shit!
It's a combined invasion. They've got Oliphants, they've got pirate ships, they've got it's pretty sick. Helm ends up getting defeated in battle at the fords of Isen and withdraws to Helm's Deep. And this is why the Hornburg becomes named after Helm Hammerhand, is because of the events of this story. Basically, it's just like an epic, successful siege. He holds out for a really long time in Helm's Deep with his younger son, Prince Hama, named after the Kingsguard's named for him. They're besieging the Hornburg, a force of Dunlendings under the leadership of Wolf, who was the son of Freka, who he killed with the one punch. They're besieging Edoras. Prince Haleth, King Helm's oldest son, leads the defense of Edoras, and he's the last one to fall, defending the doors of the Golden Hall. So Helm loses his son in the siege, even though he himself survives and the siege is successful. He goes mad with grief, right? Basically, his enemies just come to fear him as this total killer phantom who's just shows up. He just shows up and slaughters his enemies and disappears again, and he's just killing his way through his grieving process. Exactly.
Gotcha.
But it's insane. There's he becomes myth and legend. He becomes an urban legend himself, just like Bilbo. In the years after returning from the Hobbit, there's all these crazy stories about him after disappearing from the birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But Helm Hammerhand is they said that sometimes, what does it say here in the article? Let me find it. Helm's enemies came to fear him greatly during this time, and it was believed that he became so fierce and terrible that he slew many of them with his bare hands. It is also believed that when he grew hungry and had no food, he ate men. Grief and hunger having more ferocious.
Oh my god!
So he's out here killing people with his bare hands and eating folks. He's eating folks out here.
When he's hungry and bored.
Helm went to fight one of these days and just didn't return. His body's discovered the next morning, frozen in the snow, standing still, his eyes open, ready to fight. This led to the belief among the Rohirrim and Dunlendings that even in death, the wraith of Helm Hammerhand still wandered through Rohan and defended the Hornburg. Helm died in the Second Age, 2759, at the age of 68. His nephew Freylof succeeded him and became the 10th king of Rohan. But how crazy of a story is that, dude? Helm Hammerhand is like the ultimate badass. His son dies, he goes mad with grief, and just becomes the abominable snowman of death, basically. Yeah. Just like I can't wait. It's gonna go hard.
Not to burst your bubble, Legendary, but there's been cannibalism in Lord of the Rings for ever since the Two Towers. Ever since meat's been back on the menu, there's been cannibalism.
That's true. Orc on orc action, if you will. My favorite kind. I don't know who's doing the music for this.
The artwork, though, okay, so the art style reminded me a lot of, so there was a video game called Dante's Inferno, which had to deal with, like, this weird crusader knight who was having to go through the circles of hell because...
I remember that game.
Some priest killed...
it was like a God of War style kind of thing, right?
So, like, HBO... I think it was HBO. Somebody made made like an animated short movie that went through like the storyboard or like the storyline for the game. And like the art style greatly reminds me of War of the Rohirrim. So like it's really cool seeing like
that's an interesting parallel to make. I totally remember that game. I had forgotten about it until this second when you talked about it. Like, I played that years ago. I see what you're seeing. I totally see the visual connection there. For those of you unfamiliar, because this is definitely a game that millennials played in high school. Here is Dante's Inferno.
I was gonna say, can we play a trailer without like us getting flagged on YouTube? Actually, in the chat, how are we doing? I think we can. Because like it's been a minute,
we can.
And we're trying to be nice, and we've been nice.
At the midpoint on the journey of life.
If we get dinged, we'll hear about it.
But yeah, so this is the video game, and then in like promotion to this, they made an animated short film thing.
Oh, I never saw the short, but I did play the game.
Yeah, you should see if you can.
Yeah, it is totally fun. It's totally a fun God of War clone.
Yeah, either Death took his wife or like Devil took his wife, and then I can't live with hell to get it back.
You're Orpheus, right? You play as Orpheus.
I think so.
Like it's just like a Force Unleashed version of Orpheus' story. Yeah, look at him with his bone scythe. It's so sweet, dude.
Yeah, he used holy relics.
You know what? That would be a sick cosplay, actually. Dante. Let's go.
It was a dope game. It was
fun. It was fun. I'd play through it again if I found a copy that worked on my computer.
It was like goth. It was goth version like Gods of War, but it also came out. What the fuck is that? Is that Cerberus? Bro.
Jesus.
It's very Bosch. I love it. I love it.
It totally is a goth. It's Goth of War.
Yeah.
That's what you should call it. Just call it Goth of War.
But yeah, you should see if you can find a clip of the animated movie for it. But it was great.
I'm not sure.
I feel like series.
I feel like the animated movie will get us dinged.
That's fair. We won't.
I feel like that will. That's why I went with the trailer, because trailers are.
But yeah, no, definitely for those of you available, go look it up, see what it looks like, channel your inner early 2000s, and
that was a fun one.
Join us for
Speaking of channeling our inner 2000s, have you heard the new Linkin Park album yet?
No, I've been too busy listening to other more interesting stuff. I will say I am definitely on the side that says they should just change their name.
Just be a new band now. Just be a different band.
Make a new band. Yeah, dude. Like when you have people in Chester's family who, regardless of how connected they may or may not have been directly with the band, like if you have people who are asking you to like out of respect of a passed away band member that like changed the name, then just like why not?
Right.
Like because like they have so much of a different drastic sound, but they're still performing older songs that it's like.
I hear what you're saying. They should do what Sublime did after Bradley died, kind of
right.
thing.
So it's like looking at
into
other
something new.
rock bands, like very prominent rock bands who have had to find new singers, like Soundgarden, for example, Alice in Chains, AC/DC, or not Soundgarden.
My sister went to Lane Staley's funeral. Alice in Chains.
Like
that was such a
those
sad
bands still like in their recruiting process, like looked for singers that could still do the range of like the person that they were trying to quote unquote replace in a weird way. Or like Dragon Force, for example. Like even though
Dragon Force,
they have similar sounds, and like at least they're still able to hold that. Therefore, there's
Mark Hudson's not terrible. He's actually pretty good, but he's no ZP Thard. No one will ever be ZP Thard. The only time that I think that it works without changing the name is Nightwish. Nightwish, they replaced their first singer who had an operatic style with like more of a poppy singer. She wasn't great, but now their third singer, Fleur Jansen, is like the best singer they've ever had. And like when she sings their old material, it recontextualizes it, makes it even better. So it's the rare example where it's a good thing they didn't change their name, because now Nightwish is stronger than it's ever been as a band, because they just didn't have the right singer yet up until this moment. Dude, Fleur Jansen is like literally god tier vocals. Such good voice. She's such a voice. I mean, this is Bendu's whole point. Who is Chester good? Who out there is Chester Bennington good? Why are you putting that on people? Just let Linkin Park end with him and be a new band.
Especially since you sound so completely different.
Yeah, the sound changes so much. It's a completely different band. We've pretty much come to the end of our time. This was a fun little conversation about music. But while we're talking about Hell and Dante's Inferno and what we picture Hell to be like, I will submit to you the trailer for Phil Tippett's Mad God. Phil Tippett is, of course, the stop motion genius who gave us the Tauntaun, the Rancor, so many incredible creatures in Star Wars. Dude. Well, this is his personal passion project. And this is what I think Hell looks like.
It took 30 years to make. It's a 3-hour movie, so you do really need to like sit down and
it's a stamina piece for sure.
Fucking be prepared for like. Honestly, it's literally the 9 circles of Hell.
It does not feel like 3 hours. Like,
dude. There's one particular scene, and like I can talk about it because it's not even a spoiler. But there's one particular scene where like a doctor and a group of nurses like rip open this one character's stomach and chest, and they're literally ripping out intestines, and like gold and jewels and fucking treasure chests are coming out, and they're going like elbow deep into this fucking body. And like you're watching this scene and you're like, dude, we've been watching this for like 15 minutes, just like gold and gore being ripped out of this body, and then you pause it to look at the timestamp. It's literally just been 2 minutes. But I'm
pretty sure my face hurt at the end of the movie because I've been holding it in this position for so long. I was like I held that for 3 hours, and then my jaw hurt. I was just like, ugh, the whole time I watched it. But here is the trailer for Phil Tippett's Mad God. It is an absolute masterpiece. Strap the fuck in. It's all stop motion, also. Whole thing stop motion.
Yeah, but what's weird is like some of the characters are real people, so it's like part stop motion and part acting, and then but like all lighting.
Love that shot.
The body's full. Dude, that thing.
Man, of all the things to have a pull quote from Kathleen Kennedy, this is not where I expected to see it. Guillermo del Toro, that makes sense.
Dude, this also reminds me a lot of like on the 3 where you have to type Asperger and you're going through like the torture dungeon.
I just realized I'm making the face again.
Dude, the whole thing. is so intense. It's
And
so
that's Mad
fucking
God.
intense.
And that's Mad God. Yeah, it's
Dude.
so good. I know that it's available to stream on Shudder. If you can get a chance to watch this movie, if you are a fan of art or stop motion or Phil Tippett in general, like you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. It's a little twisted, as you could tell from that trailer. Yeah, I know, right? Now go to bed and have good dreams. Sleep tight. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Your dreams are going to be the greatest, like most down to earth things ever. It's just like when you watch Gene Wilder or the Gene Wilder, what's it called? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where like they're doing the boat scene and they show you all the centipedes and like the horrible shit.
Not
like,
this thing I want to get off.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, no, that scene freaked me out as a kid. Still does, actually. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been the Dork Forces podcast. We covered a couple cool topics tonight. Kind of a slow news week, but we did talk about a couple of anniversaries and some upcoming things like
matter of weeks.
Andor
Skeleton Crew, Andor season
2 weeks.
2, a bunch of Marvel
Almost
stuff.
Here.
Still fun.
We will be reacting to Skeleton Crew, Bendu and myself, right here on the YouTube channel. The full-length, uncut versions of those reactions will be available on Patreon, so you can check those out over there. The YouTube versions will be edited by Nerd Chronic, and we bow down to his excellence and his skill as an editor. He's so good at his job. You guys don't even know. But thank you so much for watching. We will be back next Monday at the same time for some more hangouts. Really nice to see everybody.
Yeah, everyone who celebrates Thanksgiving and the upcoming holidays, may you all have a good time. Have a good Friendsgiving if you happen to have one. Be kind to yourselves. Be compassionate to yourselves. Be thankful.
Yeah, we're all very stressed out right now. Make sure that you give yourself some grace. Like it can be easy to get overwhelmed. And just make sure everyone's being nice to themselves as well as to each other. It's important. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And as always, may the force be with you.